Thank you. That's new. Um,
Yeah.
And let's see, and we'll appoint, Karen, you'll be appointed as a regular member for the
Okay.
purposes of this meeting.
Yep.
And welcome, glad you can join us.
I'm glad I can be here too.
Let's see, review, first thing up on our agenda, next is the review of minutes. And Earl, thanks,
Did you get them?
I didn't, there was nothing, when you forwarded whatever you'd sent to Christine, the attachment didn't come along with it.
I sent you another email in the last couple of minutes, so
Oh,
hopefully,
okay,
hopefully
great.
it's attached there.
Yeah, but I did get it off the town website.
Okay.
So what format did you,
Don't ask me. I try to put it in Word. I mean, I don't know. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
very good with the computer, so I have to fool with them every month to get them.
okay,
Did anyone else not get them? Because I can try and send them in, not now, but after the meeting.
I couldn't open it.
Okay, you couldn't open it either? Okay. I'll resend them to you, Stan.
they're also on the, Christine French
Yeah, I
got
got
them.
this Christine, so
Yeah,
she.
and so they're on the town website.
Okay,
They download, on the town website, they download as a picture, as an Adobe picture. So then
Okay.
if you're saving it in a file, it's in a pictures file as opposed to a documents file.
Yeah.
So
okay.
there's that piece, but it, yeah, and it evidently, Earl, whatever format you used was some kind of Adobe that my version of Adobe didn't support.
Okay.
So whatever that is.
If I can figure out how to get it into Word, most people can open it.
Yeah, yeah.
Should
Well,
be here.
if you start off with
Look in the
Word,
kitchen maybe,
Yeah.
or
if
for
you
some
open-
reason.
if you
or-
start a Word document and open a Word document, a blank, get a blank document and then just write it in Word,
Okay.
then that should do it.
I'll try that next time.
And yeah, and just make sure when you're saving it, that when you go down, in the format that it's being saved at is a .docx or whatever. Great. All right. So since everybody didn't get the minutes, we will table the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll table the minutes till next meeting. Correspondence, the only correspondence I had was a note from Jean McClellan concerning their public consultation. So that was all I had for correspondence. Public comment. Budget consultations.
Good.
Jean, are you able to share your screen and bring up the images, or I forwarded them to everyone?
No, Gail, you know my confidence level. I sent to, I wasn't even sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. I can't hear you very well, but well enough. And is there a way you could share the images?
Yes.
I appreciate that.
All right. There they are.
Did the commission receive my email
I did.
or not?
I did. I received
Yep.
them, saw all the pictures.
Okay, yes. So can everybody see? I've got the file open.
I can see it.
Okay,
can see
Yeah, yeah.
so Jean, you just need to tell me which one you want me to open, and which one you want me to put up when you're ready for it.
Okay, I think, why don't we start with the first picture, which is the well house as we see it from the barnyard. It is, you can see kind of decay. This is actually, no, I'm going to talk about the well house and the entry.
Okay.
The well house itself being a concrete cube that is underground that contains the well. And this is the entryway to that underground concrete cube. This is the part that would be somewhat visible from a roadway in the wintertime. As I mentioned in my email, we have been told by a well person who came that the concrete structure is the metal roof that supports the top roof of the structure is rusted and compromised, and the solution from his standpoint, since we do not use the well, is that we either excavate the entire thing or cave it in and landscape over. I'm sorry, there's a phone in the background, but it will stop, I'm sure. The problem that you can see in the second and third images, you see the erosion that is at the edge of the concrete well house. This is what we noticed this spring, and it set off some alarms for me because the crevices are deep, and they are on both the west and the north sides of this structure. And on the west side, in the, I guess the fourth, no.
No, not that one.
Um,
This one?
Okay, on the west side, the fourth slide shows how small stone wall that is on the west side of the concrete structure is caving in. There are two capstones on this section of wall. One of them simply fell down to the ground level. So things are moving. Things are not secure, and the recommendation is that we cave this in. My micro.
Lost her.
Jean?
We lost her.
I think she said her mic was going.
Sounded like it.
Microphone is on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. I can barely hear you, but it says that I'm unmuted. Okay. So this is the situation we're dealing with. If we fill this in, as has been recommended to us, then we're left with a little fragment of the entryway. That is what the piece that is in fact at about 100 feet or so from the roadway. In the wintertime, the roof and a section of one side is visible from the road. And that's why I put in a slide that shows the what you see from the barnyard itself, from the what we call the bullpen on the north side of this structure. Just to give you an indication at a greater distance, what you might see from the roadway during the winter time. But that's a close-up view from sort of right next to the structure. But it's a slice of the
Jean, this,
north side of the entryway and the entryway roof that is seen potentially visible from the roadway during the wintertime.
okay,
So
Jean,
we have a dilemma. As Gail knows, I care a whole lot about old barns and small outbuildings. And, but I'm not sure that this well house is a viable thing. I would love, I don't know, we're coming to get advice. Not, the well house itself is not a viable thing. I guess what I'm talking about is the entryway. If we fill in the well house, it leaves, this is an unsupported structure, basically. I'm not quite sure where to go, and we're looking for some advice, possibly a site visit if people are interested. And it hurts me to think of taking down any historic fabric, but that may be our only recourse
Gene,
So
you
if
hear
the
us?
well house itself is not considered sound. So there we have it.
Okay, Jean, so a couple of quick questions. So what's showing now is we're looking at a little red shed, basically, with a door.
Yes,
Okay,
that's what you see. That's what you see from the barnyard. That's the entryway.
so
Okay,
does this door face 169, or does it face the back
No.
of the property?
You can't see anything from 169. It faces the barnyard.
Okay, yeah, but without knowing without being familiar with enough with your property for that to, at least for me, that doesn't make sense. So it faces out, it faces to the, what am I looking at? What direction am I here? West. It
If
faces
you,
toward Old Hall Road. I mean,
Road, yeah.
does it face?
you know,
toward Old Hall?
it faces toward our back fields, and it doesn't face any road. It faces west.
Okay, now, next
And
question. What's the date of this, do you think of this, what you're calling the entrance? What's the date of this red entrance structure?
We do not know. There was an artesian well within a dug well in this structure, but the structure, the well house itself, is concrete.
Do you or Jack have any idea of the date of that, the well house itself?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Is
And
is
then-
this house visible from any public road?
The front of it that I showed in the first slide is not visible from any road.
So you have,
It's only
yeah, you have another
but the piece,
slide. You have another slide with a stone wall, and we can just see the side of the red structure peeking
Yes.
over the top. That was taken
Yes.
from you were looking, let's see, that looks like it's.
okay.
it-
I took that on just north of this structure. There is a stone wall that was for the bullpen to go with this old farm. And I took that slide just inside the bullpen. So from the north side of the wall and
That's
the
outside?
the Old Hall Road side, but very close. I took a close-up shot because that's the only way you can get a shot of that side at this time of year. But I thought it was fair to show you that. And then I took the view from Old Hall Road, through which you are sort of hard pressed to see anything at the
Right.
moment.
No, and that's the photo that's got the one that I've got up now, which has got a large tree and then some stone wall.
Right.
Gail, I can't see what you've got, but yes, I think it has a large tree in the front, and there are numerous trees there, and then you get to the wall.
And there's, yes, and there's a stone wall, and then looks like mostly woods.
Yes, it's
Okay.
woodsy in there.
Right. So basically this thing really isn't visible from any road.
No.
In the dead of winter, you
Yes.
can see the roof, but you're looking at it at 100 feet from the road, and you just see the roof and that small slice of the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jean, what are the dimensions of the structure?
I should have taken the dimensions. I would say it's it's a small one. It's
Mhm.
probably 4 feet wide and 5 feet deep, and barely, I would say 6 feet high, but shouldn't be quoted
Okay.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough.
But that's approximate. But
Okay.
it's a small one. It's not comparable to the well house that is at 599, for example. That's much larger thing.
Okay.
Jean, did you document it during the outbuilding survey?
Did I document it during the what?
The historic properties outbuilding survey?
I don't know, Gail. We didn't, that was not a formal survey. I
Okay.
just went around town taking pictures of the outbuildings that I found and liked. I probably took a picture of that at the same time, but I'm not sure. It was not a formal survey.
So
I just took pictures because I love these old buildings.
So from your,
But it wasn't like the barn survey in which we were, surveying each and every thing in town.
Right.
so
I just took photos.
wearing your, your preservation hat, but not officially, if someone came up to you with this dilemma, what would you recommend they do?
Well, I would recommend that it be looked at. I think it has no integrity left if the well house itself is something that needs to be caved in and landscaped. Then you have 3 sides of a structure that is already wonky, and you don't have anything to attach it to. So, and what's inside that entryway, it goes down 3 or 4 steps down to the level of the well itself inside the well house. I didn't take interior shots because frankly, I find it a little sketchy. So I feel the preservation part of me is very torn, but I don't think it would have integrity if we kept it. And it's already, structurally, the entryway, it would need a lot of reinforcing, and probably new timbers everywhere. I resited it on the east side a couple of years ago because it was so gone, and I painted it and made sure that the roof was okay, but the structure itself is not good.
Can I propose?
Did I answer?
Can I propose something?
Yes.
Since the visibility is basically 0 in the summer and very minimal in the winter, that the commission give the McClellans permission to do whatever they want.
Well, yes, this isn't a formal public hearing, so, but
But I don't think we have to have it here.
I'm
I'll
coming
come
for
back to the
advice.
commission with a proposal.
yeah. It would be good if you, well, knowing Jean, knowing your attention to detail, I'm sure you'll document it before, if it's going away, you'll document it before it goes away.
I will do that. If that's what we need to do, I would certainly do that and make sure that the slides were with the Historic District Commission and the Historic Properties Commission.
Yeah, just, with photographs and probably a dimensional drawing, and then locating it on your property, so that,
Yes.
so that there's an understanding of it with notes about its construction. So the very fact that there's concrete was added as part of the well house shows when, at least up until when it was used. It's now the alternatives that your well person suggested was either, he said either cave it in, or what was the other thing he was?
Or extract it and, fill. Either way, there'd be fill that would go in, but sometimes they just crush these things down and then put fill on top.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes they remove the hole. We don't know beans about this. Stan, you may have some advice, and if there are solutions, that don't involve this, we're ready to hear too, but we haven't heard them yet.
Well, we can also check with the circuit riders. I mean, some of the decision making is if you feel that you want to put valuable resources into saving it, that's a consideration as well. Since it's so far back and it's barely visible, I think that it's almost outside of our consideration. So it's really nice that you came to present it to us.
Right. I just feel, in some ways, Jean, it's a personal thing. To preserve it would be wonderful, but it's just not practical, and it can't be seen really by the public. And I think it's really up to you at this point what's best for you to do.
And in its current condition, it's unsafe. So
Right.
It is unsafe.
you've got to do something with it. And so part of it is, are you and Jack, and would you and Jack entertain the amount of effort and resources it would take to make it safe, for example?
I think it would be quite considerable resources, and we would not end up with something but a relic.
Right.
You haven't
It's-
used it in 25 years, isn't that correct?
No, it hasn't been. We have a very deep artesian well elsewhere on the property.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it serves no function at
Right.
this point.
And actually it is I remember why we had to move it. We had to get a new well, and that is too close to the septic field for current
Okay.
requirements.
Mhm.
So we couldn't resurrect it.
Right.
Okay. I think the safety issue is the primary one, and
Yeah.
given
Yeah.
lack of visibility, I don't think that there should be a requirement
No.
to do anything.
I think I think that it would be, it satisfies all of our criteria if you document it and it just goes in the record with information about your property, and then you do what you need to do.
I appreciate that openness. Is this something we should apply for a certificate, or are you just saying at this point that the lack of visibility means that we don't have to apply? I'm happy to apply. I mean,
Yes.
I also care very much about the workings of the Historic District Commission, and
Yes.
I don't want to flout anything.
Right.
So here I
and
am.
So this is one of those right on the line issues. You know how we all love those, don't we, Jean? Because it's sort of slightly visible at one time of the year, it might technically require an application.
Yep, I'm ready to do that.
But it's at least 100 feet from any roadway, correct?
It is. The barn itself is 80 feet deep, and this is south of the barn, an extra 10 feet or so, and then there's probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet from the barn to the road. So I'm saying, I'm in my own mind, I haven't measured it off, but in the order of 100 feet plus.
Right.
That's where I said we're in the margins here.
Is that our jurisdiction within 100 feet?
I think it's up to 150, but so how about what about this? What about if I shoot a quick note to the circuit rider and say, is just a unofficial opinion? Is this something we can, that is just your responsibility and you can take care of? Or do they think dotting i's and crossing t's, an application should be submitted? What would you feel about that, Jean?
I'm fine with anything. I don't want to put the Historic District Commission in a difficult spot in any way. I clearly want to honor the Historic District Commission, he may have good advice. He may have a whole different thing. We do not have deep pockets to just do all sorts of, there are things, the bullpen area of the barn, what we call the bullpen, needs some serious structural work, and we would like to save it if we can. We've put a lot of resources into keeping the big barn structurally safe, and the other outbuildings have all been refurbished structurally in over the last 20 years, and so this is the one. And we lost one barn because when we got to restoring it, the person who was exploring it, the whole corner of the structure came down, and so we have tried to keep things together as best we could. We have not kept them all, and this anyway, here we are.
Well, we appreciate you coming and as a consultation, coming to us. Let's see, Earl or Stan or Karen, do you have any additional comments?
Nothing additional. Nope, I'm happy with it.
It's
I am
either that or
too.
wait till winter and do a visual from the road and see what it looks like.
Depends on what your
I
time.
want to wait until then, yeah.
What's your time frame on taking care of this, Jean?
I want to take care of it as soon as I can. We have 2 grandsons who visit and who are very exploratory, and it's there are other things that make my heart sick, and it's the safety issue that's on my mind.
Yeah.
I would agree. So, being the safety issue is a priority.
Yeah.
And that should be, ASAP, we have to come up with an idea, a decision.
So Jean, would you be, if you're amenable, I can send a note off to the circuit riders first thing, right away tomorrow morning, and they're pretty quick getting back, and then that will let us, I should know by tomorrow or Friday whether or not you would need to put in an application, and if and that, so we could leave it that way if that's amenable.
That would be great. And if there's an application, it's clear we need another month at least, but we'd like to get this done well before the snow flies.
Okay.
Sure.
And yeah, for the moment, we're just telling the boys, don't go,
Right.
and hoping and
No,
supervising.
But you're right.
But it's,
But
Karen's,
it is a concern.
yep, safety is paramount. And so I would expect we'll know back by the end of the week for you. And then
Okay,
we can work out a schedule. And if you've got a contract, if it turns out that you need an application and let's assume we stage this and the next, we can hold a special meeting
Right.
necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
If you've got, the contractors, if you've got a contractor who suddenly says, if it's all right, if you have approval, he can do it in 3 weeks.
yes,
Or before, what, you know how those work. We can do a special
I
meeting.
know how it works. It might be 3 weeks and then it might be 2 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
So first step is to explore things with the circuit rider. And then if we have to make an application, we will certainly do that and go from there.
Yeah.
I don't see a way, I wish I saw a way that it made sense to keep it. But a 3-sided building
Doesn't have
is
a lot.
weird.
Right.
So,
And I think a key piece is that if it does go, then prior to its demise, that it just is, it's nicely documented, as I know you would do, and it goes in the files.
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess, do I wait to hear from you then, Gail?
Yep, I will send an email off to Brad and Mike first thing in the morning, and as soon as I hear, Mike's usually a 24, at maximum 24-hour turnaround for me. So I would expect I'll know by the
Yeah.
end of the week. And I will get right to you as soon
Okay.
as I know.
And thank all of you for your attention to this. And we'll see where we're going.
Well,
Great.
thank you. Thank
All
you.
right,
Jean.
Jean.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you,
Thanks, Jean.
for being so diligent.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
All right. Old business, reaching out to residents. At last meeting, we thought we would try and do another walk in the fall. I just want to touch base on that and to try and do some kind of walk and see if there was any additional thought given to what the theme of that walk might be, or
Yeah,
as we think about it, is it better to just try and do with COVID, it's hard to say, go up to people's doors and knock. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the COVID, I think an outdoor walk is the smartest thing to do. And I liked what you suggested last time, which was to get someone that has some historical knowledge about, some key people who have lived there. Everyone is interested in that history and whatever else. So, and then we would put it out to the district, and anyone that wanted to could join the walk.
Mhm.
Yep, that sounds great to me, but
and looking at a calendar, do we have any kind of, I think we were talking about September is such a busy month, it would be really tough to do.
October is usually better, and it's still beautiful. I mean,
We could do early, Columbus weekend is the 9th, 10th, and 11th, so we'd want to stay away from that.
yeah,
So there's one weekend ahead of, before Columbus Day. The Roseland Festival is the weekend after Columbus Day. We don't want to go anywhere near that.
Right.
The following, there's the 24th, 23rd, and 24th, and then we're at Halloween. So and we
So
could sometimes early November is good as well.
yeah. Well, either the last weekend of October or the 1st of November.
You want to do it if we do it on a Saturday, then anybody who decorates for Halloween will have a nice display on their front porches. And it won't be Halloween, because trick or treating, if there is any, is on Sunday.
Sure.
So Saturday the 30th.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we do it earlier, the first weekend in October?
We could do it Sunday the 3rd, which is or Saturday the 2nd, but want to try for Sunday, the 3rd?
I don't know. It's just an idea. I don't, no reason.
Or, you can, we don't have to set this one in stone right this minute, but if we're looking at, let's say we're looking at Saturday, the 30th or Sunday, the 3rd, and ponder that, and let's make a decision at the August meeting.
Does someone know someone with the historical knowledge?
I've got 2 or 3 people in mind.
Okay,
Okay, good.
So, I'll check with them and also see if what dates are best for them. That might inform us on
Yeah.
what to do. All right. So we've got October 3rd, and I wouldn't think we're talking more than, we're interrupting people's afternoons for no more than an hour at the most.
Yep.
And then just make sure we have all the materials we want to use as handouts and information. Okay.
sounds good to me.
October 30th. All right. Is there any other old business? Any new business?
Not from me.
No.
No.
All right, then. Another nice short meeting. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Right.
Okay.
Karen can second, yes.
I'll second.
While you're an official regular member.
Yeah, let me second
Okay. All in favor?
I retract my second.
There you go. All in favor? Aye.
7:09. All right,
Meeting-
sounds good.
Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, everybody.